Pecha Kucha 209, no more job. So Monday, 5 o'clock in the evening, I get a call from work. They basically tell me when the furlough ends, I don't have a job anymore. Money's too tight. I'm fortunate that I've got the month off furloughed, which means that I can use Inktober to just focus on Inktober. So what did I actually do this week? I was having a talk with a colleague at work who recommended I do some storyboards and he'll just add words because he's like a writer on the side. He's just left the company as well to get another job because it is going down the tubes. So I started doing some random 2 pages a day of who knows what. I decided to use my film noir stuff. Donahue is having a new client coming in. I set it up. It's up to my pal to give me the words to actually add meaning to these images. The first page is by far the most detailed. I had a real hard deadline of like 5 o'clock every day. And then at 5 o'clock a day, he just gives me a text dump of what goes in what panel. I just literally type it into Manga Studio. And then I have the glorious job of, putting it in speech bubbles and stuff. Truly, it's the donkey work, but it's got to be done. So between us, we've created several of these. It's interesting seeing his take on my imagery, because the idea of the storyboard is that it doesn't actually need words. It should be pretty self-explanatory. He has subverted some of the meaning of the stuff I've done. And to be perfectly clear, I'm making this up as I go along. I will give myself very rough directions for when I want to continue on the next day. And then it's my job to turn some random scribbles into some random scribbles that look almost like people. It's been labor intensive, but it's not been too much focused on perfection or anything like that. The second time I came to doing this noir thing, trying to maintain likenesses was so hard, I thought I'd just add some new characters. And that keeps it fresher for me, because since I'm not really in charge of the story, what am I doing? Also, little things like having my boy Donahue pull a gun out of his drawer, and then making sure not only that it looks like a gun, but maybe it's so obvious that my friend can see it when he's looking at the tiny JPEG on WhatsApp. There are things here that are in my control, and there are things here that aren't. It's the anarchy of collaboration and interpretation. It's great. I feel like this guy with the pencil moustache in the bottom middle panel, I feel like he's the highlight of this. Nothing is really consistent. My perspective is terrible, but it's all very, very, very good practice. In between doing the film noir stuff, I also did a Fantastic Four storyboard, because at the end of the day, it's up to me to decide what to do blind. My friend is not into comics, so he had to quickly wiki who the Fantastic Four are, and I think he did a very good job of actually assigning dialogue to the characters, and I just kind of rewrote it a little bit to be a bit more flavorful to them. This was difficult because the Baxter building where the Fantastic Four live, I don't know what's in there. I'm trying to create this living space where the Thing and Johnny Storm are watching Rick and Morty, and then Spider-Man shows up. I'm doing all of this blind, and then remembering that my anatomy is not great, and also I've got a time limit for this. Later in the week, I kind of figured out how I could record this stuff to kind of turn into videos going forward. The Xbox game bar is a very super easy way for me to just record without needing external software. But I have started getting my Adobe stuff onto this new terrible PC. Photoshop opens. It works for what I need it for. Premiere Pro opens. I've messed around with a bit of footage. It seems to not be a problem. We will see when I start trying to do things for realsies. And then, of course, Thursday was October the 1st. Inktober started. So the problem is I was splitting my days between doing this storyboard thing and trying to do Inktober. So on the first day, the word was fish. I thought of a lot of things and ultimately thought, let's do some kind of Jesus parody. I didn't give myself enough time to actually envisage or to represent what I was wanting to envisage. It's not very clear what I'm going for. I think it's clear enough you can get the joke, but I'm not sure if you can tell I'm joking, which actually works for me just fine. I'm not trying to start a war with Catholics or anything, being a lapsed one myself. And then on the second day, the word was wisp, and I again went through a lot of things and then thought, let's just draw the Joker staring at a cigarette like it's the most important thing on the planet. I had reference of a dude staring at a cigarette, and then I had reference of the Joker. It took me a while to make it look less bad, and I really like just the fact that the final image is just black on white. I've used a lot of grayscale on the other days. This looks pretty good as a thumbnail, and I've got to say, if I can be putting stuff out like this, it's going to be a good month. But I'm not sure such a thing is consistently possible. And the third word was bulky. I was going to draw the Thing because I don't know how to draw the Thing. This week has definitely taught me that, and then I ended up drawing the Immortal Hulk because any excuse to draw that shady motherfucker has to be taken. Trying to figure out how to ink him and do justice to an immense physique when I just really don't have that kind of grounding in anatomy. You know what? This is not bad. It's another thumbnail that looks pretty good. Cross-hatching really did help strengthen what isn't a particularly strong image. And then Sad Clown of the Week this week, Reed Richards with half a beard. I've double-taked every time I've seen this, whatever this thing is. I've seen it represented in several different ways over several different decades. He looks great without a beard. He looks great with a real beard. But at some point in the past, someone decided he should have this 5 o'clock shadow that just doesn't fucking work. But whatever. It's all good. Maybe sometime next week I'll draw Mr. Fantastic with a beard that works. But that brings us to the end of Pecha Kucha 209, and I will see you next time.